Tank Davis is not going to fight him.
No, I just put Tank Davis out there. But you know, he's not the only guy. He's not the only guy that you could put out for the kind of fight that the fans want to see, a talented fighter like him.
Shakur Stevenson is getting more frustrated with Devon Davis because their much-awaited fight is still not being arranged, and the long delay is starting to annoy him.
He just jumped. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around.
Now we can finally be confident that this fight is definitely going to happen.
135?
35, 40, I don't know. I could see it happening not too far in the future.
Really?
Yeah, I think Tank will sign that contract.
Dang.
And I'm going to sign a contract too.
With everyone involved now confirming the schedule for the fight, fans can finally expect it to happen within the announced time frame.
He hating, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he hating. You know, I got the opportunity he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just coming from him.
As Stevenson gets ready to fight Artem Harouin on July 6th at the Credential Center in New York, New Jersey, during the main ESPN event, Davis is enjoying his victory after knocking out Frank Martin in his latest fight. Stevenson, who is well known for his confidence and talent inside the ring, is fully focused on his upcoming fight with Haroun, and even after Haroun recently lost to Martin, Stevenson is not taking him lightly and plans to control the fight from start to finish. But his main focus is still a future clash with Davis, which he believes would be one of the biggest fights of his career and an important matchup for the entire division.
Said he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30 or none of that.
He is good.
At 26 years old, Stevenson sees Davis being 30 as something worth questioning and wonders why he still has not faced the top fighters he keeps talking about. Stevenson said, "How many times is he going to promise a fight against elite opponents and still avoid them?" He said Davis is already 30 and now suddenly talking about fighting him next, so Stevenson replied, "Fine, let us make it happen now."
How can he say Tank should have fought De Los Santos, a guy that he just beat, right? He should have faced him over me, but he going to fight a guy I beat. What type of sense that make?
Stevenson is frustrated because even with his strong career achievements, including world titles in 3 divisions and becoming a unified champion at junior lightweight, he still feels the biggest fights are not happening fast enough, especially against Davis. He criticized the constant delays and questioned whether Davis truly plans to fight him or will keep making promises without action. Stevenson directly called him out and told him to stop talking and get in the ring, for the fight fans want to
fight you. Gervonta Tank Davis, let's make the fight happen, man. I'm tired of tweeting, I'm tired of talking about it. Stop ducking me and let's make the fight happen, man. Come on.
Stevenson believes making a fight with Davis should be simple, and said all it takes is sending an offer, while admitting that Davis is the bigger name in the sport. Stevenson made it clear that he understands his position, but is fully ready for the challenge. He said Davis has the fame and attention, but he is staying prepared and waiting for the moment the fight is officially agreed upon.
Man, I think Tank at this point he's unbeatable at the lightweight division against any of the world champions. I think he's the top guy right now at that division.
Stevenson also shared his frustration with Frank Martin, who pulled out of a scheduled fight for the vacant WBC lightweight title last November, a title Stevenson later won against Edwin de Los Santos. Stevenson questioned whether Martin can really be called an elite fighter and criticized him for not going through with their plan. Bout Stevenson said he was unhappy that Martin got a chance to fight Tank before him, and added that Martin became known for agreeing to fight him but then backing out and never actually facing him.
And I'm not trying to disrespect Frank, because Frank, I heard him say in the interview that I was hating on him. I'm really not. I don't got really nothing to hate on him. I wish him nothing but the best too.
But now it looks like the wait for this fight will not be much longer, as the clash between Shakur and Tank has already been confirmed and scheduled for summer 2024, despite earlier delays and Stevenson's frustration over making it happen. The situation now shows strong momentum, and the fight appears to be close to becoming a reality.
People in the world that I think that could beat Tank. That would be Devin, that would be Shakur, and Tank Davis himself.
You got the last one right. That's the only person that can beat me, Gervonta Davis.
While the exact date has not been confirmed, it is expected that the fight will take place soon, and fans are anticipating another big knockout from Tank or a win from either fighter. What is clear is that Davis and Stevenson will face each other in a 12-round bout under the lightweight limit of 135 pounds. This matchup has already drawn major attention across the boxing world, as it brings together two of the sport's most skilled and exciting young stars.
I told you it's a 50-50 fight.
Ain't no 50-50 fight, nigga. How you gonna keep me off and you ain't got no power?
Shakur Stevenson, who has openly shown frustration over the repeated delays in his fight with Davis, now sees the upcoming bout as a major milestone in his career.
Tank Davis can fight a guy who they picked up all from the diner. He knocks him out. Oh, it's great because he knocked him out. You know what I mean? But Shakur will fight a dangerous guy who's a puncher, beat him a little bit less impressively, and all of a sudden, oh no, we don't care about it. We don't want to see him. Okay, so then we'll get him diner workers.
Even Bob Arum has stepped in to explain why this fight could be even bigger than expected, and it is not just him, as Leonard has also supported the idea of Tank facing Stevenson while promising another knockout for Tank. Leonard Ellerby has also backed the matchup along with promoter Bob Arum, showing strong interest overall. The long-awaited showdown between Davis and Shakur Stevenson is now highly expected to be finalized for the summer.
Sure, we're looking for fighters that are competitive with Shakur.
Despite early talk that Davis might instead face Vasyl Lomachenko, Stevenson's co-manager Josh Dubin strongly defended his fighter status as a major attraction in boxing and pushed back against Bob Arum's recent comments. Dubin responded directly to Arum's claim that Lomachenko would be the more profitable opponent for Davis. Calling that argument nonsense, he pointed to Stevenson's strong and consistent TV ratings on ESPN and his proven ability to sell tickets, especially highlighting events where Stevenson has packed arenas like the United Center in Newark. Dubin argued that Shakur has consistently been one of the top-rated fighters on their ESPN roster. Whenever he steps into the ring, he added that the only time Shakur did not deliver strong ratings was when he was placed on a Thursday night card that went up against a major Formula One race which was promoted as a huge global event. Dubin said that even then the situation was not ideal and suggested that such scheduling choices affected performance. He also claimed that despite that one exception, Shakur normally performs very well in viewership, and he dismissed doubts about his ability to fill arenas. Furthermore, Dubin criticized how Stevenson's career has been managed by his current promoters, suggesting there has been hesitation in arranging major fights, possibly due to contract issues or competing priorities. He stressed that Stevenson wants the biggest names in the division, including Davis, Lomachenko, and other top fighters, but feels those opportunities have not been properly backed by promotional efforts. Dubin said Shakur wants the biggest fights and added that while no one can force opponents to fight him, it is unfair to claim negotiations with Tank Davis are not happening just because Shakur is not.
People that can actually hit. No matter all that boxing, you're going to get hit. What you going to do when you...
Despite a less impressive showing in his last fight against Edwin de Los Santos, Stevenson remains determined to take on major challenges that can raise his standing in boxing. Dubin's criticism also touched on how Stevenson is treated compared to other fighters, pointing out that it seems easier to arrange bouts for lesser-known names like Baron Chick, while negotiations for a Davis fight appear much more complicated and face far more obstacles. There are 3 fights that Stevenson wants: Lomachenko, Tank, and Baron Chick. Dubin emphasized that these are the matchups he is pushing for, and said his team has been asking for them for a long time. He added that the Baron Chick fight could be made very quickly if there was real interest. Stevenson's camp also argues that he is fully capable of attracting strong viewership and fan support, and they reject the idea that he does not have enough appeal to land major high-profile fights.
Talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
You know, can't take anything away from me. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world.
With negotiations moving forward and both fighters showing interest, the expected announcement of the Davis vs. Stevenson fight for summer 2024 marks a possible turning point in Stevenson's career as he looks to establish himself among boxing's elite. However, many believe the fight has been delayed because Shakur is not seen as highly profitable in Tank's view, even though Bob Arum has argued that Stevenson can still generate strong revenue. Stevenson has also made efforts to build his own marketability and raise his profile in the sport.
Who I'm fighting, like, come on, like, the money there, I wasn't feeling that. If it would have been more money, I would have took that.
In an interview with Brian Custer on Showtime Sports, Shakur Stevenson spoke about the challenges and frustration of getting big fights in boxing. He also shared his thoughts on potential matchups, including the long-awaited fight with Tank Davis. When asked about his scheduled bout with Frank Martin in November in Las Vegas for the WBC lightweight title, Stevenson gave a direct explanation for why it never happened. He said that Frank Martin lost confidence before the fight and started backing out. He added that although the fight initially seemed agreed, once it got close Martin became nervous and chose not to go through with it. Stevenson also said Martin claimed the money was not enough, but in reality the offer was far higher than anything he had earned before.
It sounded good, everything sounded good, but once the fight came to fruition, I feel like he got real nervous and didn't want to.
Stevenson pointed out the financial gap between what Frank Martin had earned before and what was being offered for their fight. He said Martin's career earnings were around $250,000 and explained that the fight would have paid him about $1 million. Stevenson added that this was roughly 4 times more than anything Martin had ever made in his career, making it a major opportunity that ultimately did not happen.
His numbers, but the numbers that he done made in his career was the highest was $250,000. That fight that he would have just fought, he would have.
Brian Custer suggested that Martin may have withdrawn because he was waiting for an even bigger fight later on. Stevenson disagreed and said he does not believe fighters actually want to lose. Deep down he added that in his view Martin knew he was one of the best in boxing, and when it came down to it Martin would only accept the fight if the reward was much higher. Stevenson said that if you are going to risk a loss you would want to earn far more money, and implied that the offer of 4 times his usual purse was still not enough for Martin.
He wanted to make 10 times more than he ever made in his career. So
Stevenson also expressed clear frustration about how hard it is to secure fights against top-level opponents. He said he is constantly trying to make the biggest matchups happen, but it often does not work out. He pointed to the Lomachenko situation, saying that the fighter was offered more money than he had ever earned in his career to face him, but still declined. He made a similar claim about Frank Martin, saying he was also offered a career-high payday to fight, but still refused. Stevenson said it is very frustrating trying to get these fighters to agree to step into the ring with him.
I don't think fighters want to lose. I think that deep down inside he know that I'm one of the best fighters in boxing. And
the issue of fighters avoiding Stevenson is not new in boxing, but in his case it feels especially noticeable. When asked what it would take to land a major fight, Stevenson admitted he is unsure, and said that part of it is out of his control. He even suggested that maybe he would need to have a poor performance or a close fight for others to finally step in with him. Another big fight that never happened was against Devin Haney. Stevenson made it clear he wanted that matchup, but talks broke down because of money disagreements. He said he was the one pushing for the fight and looking for the challenge, but claimed Haney's side offered a low amount. He argued that it was far below what he had been earning in recent fights, and because of that he chose to move in a different direction.
Almost gave the impression that Shakur was asking for way too much money for this fight. Give me.
Stevenson said his move to secure a mandatory position for the WBC title, which was Devin Haney's belt at the time, shows how strategic he has been with his career. He explained that he pushed himself into the mandatory spot and made his position clear, and as a result he is now fighting for the vacant WBC title. He added that this was originally Haney's belt and suggested that people can draw their own conclusions about how things unfolded.
Okay. What defense?
You think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no.
You never say he slipped or missed a punch. Among all the possible fights, the matchup with Tank Davis has always been the biggest one for Stevenson. He is very clear about its importance, saying that him and Tank is the biggest fight in the world whenever it happens.